Welcome to CBSE English Tutorial, a visual guide.
Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to dismantle the mystery of story writing. We're going to break that daunting task down into a simple, step-by-step process, so you can craft a killer story even when that exam clock is ticking. So here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that universal fear of the blank page. Then, we'll figure out what makes a story actually good and give you a powerful blueprint to follow. We'll even share some pro tips for when you get stuck so you can write your own success story. All right, let's just dive right in. We have to start with a feeling every single writer, and especially every student, knows way too well. That sheer panic of the blank page. We've all been there, right? Your mind is just buzzing with all these ideas, characters, and little bits of scenes, but getting them onto the page in a way that makes any sense feels completely impossible. It's that moment of total paralysis before you've even written a single word. This just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? But here's the key thing I want you to remember. Getting stuck doesn't mean you're a bad writer. Not at all. It just means you need a better strategy. A blueprint to help guide all those thoughts into a story that's clear and compelling. Okay, so to build that strategy, we first have to get back to basics. What are the core ingredients that make a story really work? And what are examiners actually looking for? You know, it's so much more than just making something up. At its heart, story writing is a technical skill. It's about building a world and telling a story with a clear beginning, a really tense middle, and a satisfying ending, all while showing off how well you can use language. And this slide lays it out perfectly. These are the 5 essential building blocks. Seriously, think about it. Every single story you've ever loved is built on these 5 things. The characters you follow, the setting they're in, the plot that keeps you hooked, the conflict that pushes them, and the theme that gives it all some meaning. Now let's see how all these blocks fit together to create a formal structure. This is your blueprint, the formula you can use every single time to organize your ideas and, more importantly, score those marks in an exam. And we're talking about a lot of marks here. In many exam systems, like this CBSE for instance, this one question can be worth a whole 10 marks. That means mastering the format isn't just a creative exercise. It's absolutely essential for your final grade. Okay, now this is really fascinating. Take a look at how those marks are broken down. Your brilliant creative idea, the content, is worth 4 marks. But your expression, that's your grammar, spelling, how you put it all together, is worth 5. You even get a mark just for following the format. This tells you something so important. The technical skill is actually valued even more than the idea itself. So the takeaway here is super clear. Follow this structure. This is your roadmap. Start with a catchy title. Use the beginning to set the scene and introduce everyone. The middle is where you build the tension and introduce the big problem. Then, bam! Hit them with a powerful climax, the turning point, and then you wrap it all up with a clear ending. That's the format that's going to get you a logical, high-scoring story. Okay, you have the blueprint. You know the structure. But what happens when you're right back at square one, staring at that blank page and the words just won't come? Let's talk about some pro-level strategies to get you unstuck. This first tip is a total game changer. Write the middle first. I know, it sounds weird, but the beginning is often the hardest part to get right. So just don't start there. Jump straight into the action or the main conflict, whatever part of the story feels the most exciting to you. Once you build that momentum, the beginning and the end often just fall into place way more easily. You know, sometimes all you need is just a little nudge to get going. Simple sentence starters like, "the real problem was," or "this all matters because," can be like a key turning in a lock. They trigger that next thought and get the dominoes falling without making you feel boxed in. And finally, don't be afraid to use a simple outline or a writing frame. Just jotting down a few bullet points, beginning, middle, end, can massively reduce your stress. It takes the pressure of organizing off your shoulders so you can focus all your energy on the fun part, telling the story.
The big takeaway here is that story writing isn't some kind of magic talent you're just born with. Nope. It's a skill. And like any skill, you can learn it, you can practice it, and you can absolutely master it when you have the right tools and a clear process to follow.
So before you put your pen down, always run through a final mental checklist. Does it have a title? Check. Is the structure there? Check. Did I check for silly spelling mistakes? Check. Trust me, a quick 2-minute review like this can be the difference between a good mark and a great one. So the next time you face that blank page, don't see a barrier. You've got the blueprint now. You have the core definition, the essential ingredients, the exam-ready format, and the strategies to beat writer's block. That blank page isn't an obstacle anymore. It's an opportunity. So, what story will you tell?
Thank you for watching. See you again in a bit.